So this is sort of giving white woman feminism and completely ignores class. So bedrooms are very late in human history, as are beds. Think of the space of modern houses. Bedrooms in many houses are used much less than, say, a kitchen or a living room. So when houses were smaller, you had multi-use rooms, and individual beds were definitely a luxury. And so if you were wealthy enough to have a bed, first of all, you often had it in a room that was used for other things, and you shared that bed, not just with a spouse, but with whoever needed to sleep. So while the average people had very few beds, no bedrooms, and shared spaces to sleep in, the wealthy started building bedrooms, and even more separate bedrooms for men and women. And this was for royals, certainly, but also aristocrats. And by the 1800s, writers are saying, oh, this is what is necessary for good health, sleep separately. Partly, though, as a dig against the poor, with the idea that sleeping together or everybody in one room, one bed was unhealthy and unclean. This is also the beginning of mechanization. And then by the middle of the 1800s, you have the rise in the Industrial Revolution of consumer production. And so 2 beds makes lots of sense because that's twice the products people have to purchase. Now, it does allow for some level of autonomy, and especially if they're not in the same room, women did have more bodily autonomy. And that idea of separate beds lived well into the 1960s. In fact, when Dick Van Dyke's show came out, in the 1960s, censors required that they sleep in separate beds on camera, even though more and more people were moving into single beds. And why? Because the 1950s and on started the rise of what we think of tradwives, these stay-at-home, creating a cozy domicile kind of culture, including cozy all night long.